Hello everyone, and welcome to another start of the series of my Infinity Battle Reports, where I'm going to be walking over the games from a two-day event for your luxury. Unfortunately, life took precedence and I didn't really have time to make any battle reports from the games, nor did I really play. I only had the opportunity to play one 5-round event with Asfalheim, and life was really tough for me and I didn't really feel in a mood to make battle report from the tournament. So yeah, that's quite a break. But nevertheless, we're back in the action with this time with Varuna, and it's Infinity Week, so we're starting off the Infinity Week of a two-day event, and we'll be running it as a Varuna because I have suspicion that the Varuna will be gone in N5, so I wanted to have one last final time with them. I ended up playing the first round against Sharrankar, also known on the Infinity Discord and the IGL. He's also a painter. He's going to be running Tohaa Vanilla that he's playing for such a long time that I kind of forgot what did he played before. And we're playing supplies, and yeah, let's just get right into the list and the game itself. So this is my opponent's list, and basically we're running Tohaa good stuff, right? We have this Sukel with a missile launcher, we have a Kelter and a paramedic. Let's try it number one. Very tough arrow to go around. Then we have, of course, the one tackle chain of command, and we don't have two tackles, but this is also a different triad. So this is a triad, this is a triad, and this is also a triad, right? With the Sukel K1. Sukel with a K1 is basically a tech against tags, and then in each triad we have a Macau, and the Dral is, I guess, a luxury piece, because usually the Dral is HMG Sukel, but this time Sharrankar decided to go for a Dral instead of a Sukel, because I can see why. You get a mine. I really like Drals myself. I'm a really big fan of them. They get you a mine layer, they get you an AP marksman rifle, Mimet is -6, and they're quite potent gunfighters on their own and quite tough to dislodge, right? So this list basically has access to 1, 2, 3 ways of smoking across the board, 3 eclipses. Then we have 1 specialist, 2 specialists, and basically 2 more specialists, so 3 triads with specialists. Then we have the Beast Hunter with a surprise attack, of course. Then we have the Liberto. And in group 2 it has Grief, which is a very good opportunity piece. If you have first turn, you can always get some value out of it. And then there is also the Nicole and obviously the Diplomatic and 1 Chaksa to round up the list. So I think basically this is Tohaa good stuff. There is not really much else that I can talk about. 3 triads, Nicole, bunch of specialists, bunch of eclipse, a lot of ways to traverse across the board, and all in all a very good list. I'm going to be running Varuna this time, and for this tournament I decided I want to have a change of pace and run something different than I'm used to running in Varuna. So we're trying 0 Zulu Cobras challenges, because I'm a really big fan of Zulu Cobras. I think they are the best unit in Varuna, but this time we're replacing them with a Krokman hacker and an Echo Bravo paramedic with a light shotgun. So the Krokman will be basically an unsung hero of this tournament, while Echo Bravo really disappointed as I kinda expected, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? So let's just get into the list. Obviously we have a Kamau sniper with the Fusiliers, and then we have a Harris of the Kamau, Bipandra and the Fusilier. So the Bipandra is there mostly because I need a Fusilier for the fire team anyways. It would most likely be a paramedic to have a specialist, so it will be 12 points. And Bipandra you get for 10 extra points, right? So 10 extra points gives you Nanopulsar, gives you an ability to do a lot of classifieds because of veteran, and she also gets a template. And the thing with Harris's is that once the sniper goes down inevitably, or like goes unconscious, burst 1 paramedic is very, very unreliable, and the doctor just makes sure that I can get the Kamau in the Harris backup running. And again, you have to think that this is basically a 10-point upgrade. This is not 22 points because I would need a Fusilier anyways, so this is just 10-point upgrade, right? So I'm very much a fan of Bipandra in this kind of Harris, so I basically recommend it to everyone. If this would not be Bipandra, then it probably would be Patsy because of the NCO order. Knight of Montesa, absolutely outstanding piece, especially for supplies that we'll be playing. And then basically group 2 is 3 hills, right? I have 0 SWC for the marksman rifles, so I mean rockets, so those are marksman rifles, and then 1 SMG just to have an reserve model against impersonators. And the Krokman hacker because like I wanted to try something new. And then finally, you might be wondering, is the orc with the Feuerbach. The reason why I'm adding this orc with the Feuerbach is that usually in Varuna I'm running 3 Zulu Cobras with breaker rifles, and the Zulu Cobras take care of a lot of stuff, especially armor and tags. And since I'm running 0 breaker, I need a way to kill tags reliably. And Orc Feuerbach is quite potent at killing tough stuff because, well, Feuerbach. So all in all, this is like my type of Varuna without a tag, with 15 really good troopers, and like really steady defense between the helots and like 3 hard arrow pieces. You can create a lot of problems for your opponent. So we're getting into the game. My opponent won the lieutenant role and decided to go first with his Tohaa, which is well, sorry, this was the other way around. I won the lieutenant role and decided to choose the deployment. Since the explanation is very simple. The only models that will really get the packages from my side have wounds, and because Tohaa has both Eclipse and the end game, there is like no way at all for me to stop them from walking across the table and endgaming my miniature that holds the box. So if the Tohaa has the final say in supplies, then it's very risky for me to control the boxes, because the way how Eclipse and endgame interacts with, well, supplies generally, it's just basically unstoppable. So I really want to go second. My opponent luckily decided to go first, which is alright for me. So this here will be the missile launcher Sukel that has like good line of fires across the middle. So it basically dominates like this sort of area of the table, but does not dominate this area. Then they have the one triad ready to go across either to this box or this box. And then basically the Dral with Takoel are ready to assault either the middle or the other way around. Then of course we have the Beast Hunter here. Then we have the Liberto on this side, ready to basically assault into my deployment. My opponent's reserve piece would be Griff, and then also there is the Nicole that takes care of this fire lane. So all in all, quite decent deployment from my opponent. But yeah, that's like Tohaa. It's not really difficult to deploy with them. So now we're going to my deployment. It is going to be a bit more complicated, right? Because we want to accomplish a few things. First of all, here is the Sukel, and then there is the Nicole. And what I really don't want to force is for my opponent to be able to take the fight with the Sukel against my Kamau. The reason for that is that he has a Symbiomate. Even if I win one face-to-face roll, he doesn't really lose much. And if he gets lucky, because it's 2 dice versus 2 dice, my Kamau will just basically get obliterated, right? So I really don't want to allow my opponent to take this fight. And it kind of goes the same for the Nicole. I also don't want to take this fight, even though I'm a little bit more keen, because Kamau has like 6 BTS, so it's not really likely to go down in one order against the Nicole, but still, because of the Symbiomate, not exactly my fight, right? So this is the first thing that we're thinking about deploying the Kamau, to not allow our opponent to take those fights. So this is why this Kamau is in somewhat conservative space, and I really overwatch only like this box from this spot. So if my opponent decides to go around this, my opponent is free to take this box and basically go away because he has Eclipse, and there's nothing really I can do about it. So all in all, it's all about preserving my stuff from my opponent. Then the other Kamau is basically landing here, and he dominates a really long fire lane this way, which again can waste a lot of orders from my opponent, but very importantly prevents my opponent from taking advantageous fight against the Kamau. Bipandra will be tucked near the Kamau, the Montesa is hidden in this spot that's basically the safest, and my Fusiliers are basically scattered all around this here area, and the Orc Feuerbach controls this console. So all in all, I'm controlling all 3 consoles to some extent, which kinda makes my opponent have to choose which of the console he has to go, because he has to spend a lot of orders eclipsing. Then we have the Hilot here, Hilot here, Hilot here. They are going to be our first line of defense from basically Libertos, Beast Hunters, and so on and so on. So my opponent basically starts off the turn and he goes to murder me. The Grave is going to be his reserve here. The Liberto, which was located here, starts running across the table. I delay with those pieces because, yeah, and discover with the Kamau. Obviously my opponent is free to take the free shots, but he would be outside of 16 at like this point. So yeah, like on -9, not really happening. So I discover the Liberto successfully. The Liberto then approaches me towards the Kamau. I declare a dodge. He puts 2 slugs into me and puts me unconscious, right? So the Kamau goes unconscious, but the Liberto is basically shredded, right? So my opponent really wants to take down the Kamau, and he's willing to put more into this. Not exactly, not super sure about this line of play, but I mean, yeah, it's still a Kamau, right? So probably not a bad call. This Beast Hunter basically climbs up here, jumps on top of this container, and basically Panzerfausts to absolutely delete the Kamau Sniper, right? So the Kamau Sniper is basically deleted. This guy is dead, and this piece is also dead because this is a Beast Hunter shot from like these hills. Then finally, after this, then the Grave Operator activates, kills this hilot, and if I remember correctly, Sukeo discovers and kills this hilot, right? So in the end, this is revealed, and they're like trading 2 pieces for 2 hilots and a Kamau. This is an okay trade for me, because my opponent was not able to get into any supply boxes in this turn. So all in all, I think quite decent defense. We're somewhat even on attrition, right? So this is the for our turn. So this Fusilier creeps up, shoots the Grave, puts the Grave unconscious. This opens up a way for a fire team, but the Sukeo is still a risk that I don't really want to take, right? So this Kamau, unfortunately, would have to go all the way here to take this fight, which is very inefficient. But we have a card up our sleeves. We actually have an infiltrated Krokman hacker here, who spends his orders, and like 2 or 3 orders that he has, to basically get into this position, somewhere here, shoots into the Sukeo with a missile launcher, luckily puts 1 wound, well, so this is the Krokman, right? So puts 1 wound into the Sukeo, then spends 1 more order maneuvering and basically deletes the Kamal paramedic that's out of this picture, and promptly retreats back into this position. This allows me to move the fire team with the Ork Feuerbach into the middle, and from this position find an angle and shoot at the wounded Sukeo that has no mate and is basically out of Harris, which basically puts it out of the misery. Then I spend the remaining turn to take shots into the Nicole, and it takes me like approximately 4 orders to get for a Symbiomate and the Sapper, but finally put the Nicole down. And here's basically the biggest mistake I make of this game. This is a really key position for the Feuerbach, because I have this line covered, right? And I can basically have this line covered. The Kamau then ends the turn somewhere on this area and has this crossfire covered, right? So let me just paint this. So the Kamau is watching here, the Feuerbach is watching here. So in my eyes, this is a very good and strong position, because we also have a support from this hilot. And this pins our opponent back into the deployment zone. But what I don't take into account, or rather I forget, is that we're playing against Tohaa, and they absolutely don't care about line of fire. So this basically means that this fire team is not in a good position, it's actually in a terrible position, which will spell the disaster for those guys. And yeah, this is basically exactly what happens. My opponent takes the fire team here, puts Eclipse here using the Taquel, and basically endgames the paramedic, endgames the Feuerbach, and promptly retreats back into his deployment while taking a package with him. We basically, I mean, sure, he spent quite a few orders, but he would be going into the supply box anyway, and it was like 2 or 3 orders at endgaming my guys, which is not really that big of a deal. And then finally, if I remember correctly, the Sukeo also manages to sneak up here and basically get 1 more package thanks to the Eclipse smokes. So this is a bit of a big picture ahead of our schedule, but with a better view. We're going into turn 2 from me. The Kamau fire team that's here will be walking this direction and deletes the Drall that was left here in prone, takes the shot at the delegate, finishes it off, but somewhere along the process I basically get flash pulsed by something. I think like Kael'thar or whatever. Yeah, but I killed both the Drall and I killed the delegate, which is great for me, right? Great news. No, sorry, actually the other way around. The Kamau kills the Dral, gets flash pulsed, and then the Krokman kills the delegate. That's what happened. So yeah, with those threats removed, we have this triad here, and we have the Sukel with the package. So because my opponent is running Tohaa and he has a lot of Eclipse, I have to make a move at this package right here and now. So the Montesa runs way here and engages the Sukel. It combines the arms with the Krokman, and between the two of them, I managed to kill the Sukel. I don't have enough orders to get the package, so I basically retreat with the Montesa, right? And at this point of the game, the package is here, like this is the supply box, and there is a supply box here on the ground, and this is unopened, but Pipandra is near. So this is going to the final turn of my opponent, and since this is Tohaa, you can never discount them, right? The Macau basically runs around here, sneaks up onto the Krokman, even I think without smoke, enters into close combat to the Krokman, kills it, and basically dies to like a Fusiliers with combi rifles. But this opens up this package, right? So this stack well and spends some orders coordinating back into the deployment, into the safety, and then Lonely Chaksa gets around here. So the Chaksa gets here, gets with the package, right? This guy's dead. And this guy's dead. And yeah, the package is here and the package is here. Those are the two supply boxes. So we need to make a move at it, and we basically have only one option. We're kind of like roll and attrition. We have like 6 orders, and here is a package free for taking. And there is also an HVT here, and Echo Bravo did not appear on the table. So what I start the game with is basically appearing the Echo Bravo next to the HVT, which gives me a secure HVT. And at this point, all I have to do is deny my opponent one package and take one extra package with Bipandra. So we have the Montesa for that. The Montesa spends quite a few orders using basically the stairs, comes way around here, takes like multiple pot shots across the table, shoots at the Chaksa. I kill the Chaksa, the Montesa dies in Blaze of Glory. The Bipandra successfully extracts the package because she has extra bonus. Echo Bravo spends one final order with a command token to basically do the card on the HVT with the paramedic, and this basically means that this is a 6-4 for me, or like 4-2. Yeah, I think it's 4-2 basically, because I have one supply box here, and my opponent has one supply box here, and this guy is dead. So yeah, this basically concludes this game in really quick words. I think generally what I can really say about the game confidently is that I made a really big mistake in leaving this fire team here, because those are basically 3 kills for my opponent, and like 2 shot skills to kill 2 models, or like 3 shot skills to kill 2 models. This is definitely worth for my opponent. If I had those guys, if I had the Fuerba Hork, then I could basically use it to contest the final turn, but I didn't. The Echo Bravo, well, it scored cards. I was starved for 2 orders. I was starved of the orders for 2 turns, and I really wish for the entirety of the game that this was a Zulu Cobra that I could use. The Krokman actually was a really great asset. I think it basically overperformed, because the Krokman, while appearing here, it always had like 3 orders at best, but I spent really great those orders. Even with the X-Visors, I managed to put a wound on the Sukel, I managed to put this guy down, I managed to put the delegate down, and then basically trade for the Macau. So with a combi rifle and an X-Visor, you can basically get the entire world, right? One of the Kamau was unfortunately KI8, but the other one pulled its worth by killing Dral and something else. And our Feuerbach was also cool. And yeah, that's kind of short words on my side. From my opponent's perspective, I think he played it quite well. I'm not exactly super confident on using the Beast Hunter to finish off the Kamau, but you still, like, you're in a conundrum where you already sacrificed the Liberator and you don't really want the Kamau to be recovered. The Grief was like really greedy. The Grief for the Helot is not exactly a greatest for the traits. Yes, greatest traits. And finally, I think the way to go with the Tohaa is to take packages and basically go back. I still think that this is the way to go when you're going fast, especially considering how difficult it is to attack into Tohaa. So if I were in my opponent's shoes, I would basically play the mission completely, and just try not to engage. Because like the thing is, yeah, you can go and engage, but you trade the entire turn 2 pieces for 3 pieces, which is rather good from my experience of playing Varuna, but still it costs you entire turn, right? And you could have like 2 packages somewhere this line. It's not exactly that I'm going to be really aggressive with my list. I only have one Tessa basically to do that, and everything else is designed to grind my opponent down. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this really quick battle report that I'm doing with no retakes. Have a good one. Bye.